Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Brian Lacey, and if you don't know him, I'm going to introduce him to you, and if you do know him, well...
Could be trouble.
Yeah, it could be trouble. It's Grant Pichet with Catering, Oasis, and Restaurants Against Hunger.
Yeah.
He's an entrepreneur. He's a musician. He's a good man to know.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. There's a lot of musicians out there will, love to doubt what you're saying right now. I go by the old Woody Guthrie. If you're playing more than 3 chords, you're showing off.
Oh,
so,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like Stevie Nicks. She sings 3 chords, but she sings them well.
She sings them real well. I sing them loud.
Exactly. But it's sort of hard to play the ukulele loud.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
You never hear him say, "Give him more uke."
Yeah. Yeah, and it's tough to play Freebird on that, as well. That's another thing they yell.
Oh, see what I mean? Always entertaining, always entertaining. Let's talk a little bit about what you do in the community.
All
For
right.
those that know, honestly, entrepreneur, businessman, activist, really. My first contact with you was when you were doing things with the Ritz.
Uh-huh.
Also ran into you helping out high school, the culinary programs, and now you've got a new baby that you're working with. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'd love to say we're an overnight success, but Restaurants Against Hunger, we're celebrating 20 years, and it started one day just driving on my bike by the Mission, and I noticed they had some signs up for Thanksgiving. And so I went in there, and it's an old house, and I'm just kind of looking around, and I said, I noticed you're having Thanksgiving. How many people are you going to have? And they said, well, we're going to have over 250. And I'm looking at this domestic kitchen going, I've been in this business a long time. That's a challenge to be able to do that. And I asked them, how are you going to do it? And they said, well, we don't know. We're just hoping God's will comes through and we can get this done. So at that point in time, I decided to get my colleagues together in the area. And we, about 4 or 5 restaurants got together, and we all did a portion of that Thanksgiving meal. We heated it up, brought it in, and we were able to serve the 200 people that came to that Thanksgiving dinner. And when somebody asked, well, what do you call yourselves? And I said, I guess we're just Restaurants Against Hunger. And that's where it's born to. And about 4 years ago, we decided to actually make it a 501c3. We had, before that, we'd do fundraising and we'd give food away and all that sort of thing to the local chapters, but sometimes there's some difficulties in that. So we wanted to have a little more control, so we became a 501c3. And we were very well known as the feel-good charity during the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's where the bulk of our mission was heading. But as the years grew on, and I was on the board of the Boys and Girls Club, Citrus Center Boys and Girls Club, so that was a natural to go feed those kids once a month. And then we started getting people donating food to us, and thank God for some partners like Phoenix Industries, John Fleming over there. If I get a pallet donated to me, he sends his refrigeration trucks and goes get that pallet, and we could be able to do more with less money. So we were able to distribute from there. So that got us into the food pantries in the area, as well as Meals on Wheels. So it's kind of evolved again, but we're still the feel-good charity during the holidays, and we partner with Brooks Law Group in Winter Haven for their holiday turkey giveaway. They provide the turkeys for 350 families. We provide everything else. We get the produce. Farmer Jack's donates the produce. He's real good about helping out during the Thanksgiving and the Christmas gig. And then we go out and we buy the other ingredients that needs to happen. And these folks will sit out there. We had one family got there at 2:30 in the morning for a 12-pound turkey, just so they could be the first in line. And so these people wait in line all day long. So 2 years ago, we decided we set up a peanut butter and jelly station with some water, chips, and we had the kids making peanut butter and jelly. So when they got their food, finally got their food, they can get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and with some chips and water. And I love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
So can't go wrong.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with it.
Well, one of the things that you mentioned, as we all know, fundraising is always going to be challenging for nonprofits. And you got to do something that they ain't ever seen before. That's my best cramp cliche.
Yeah.
So you guys have unique parties, and you had one a couple weeks ago, and it included one of the greatest movies ever, The Big
Yeah.
Lebowski.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about fundraising and having fun while you're doing it.
Yeah, it's a challenge. We're a small group. We don't raise a lot of money, but we feel like we have an impact in bringing awareness and that sort of thing. But for 9 years, we did a golf tournament with scores out at Cypress Woods. And if you didn't know anything about golf tournaments, they can be very challenging. It's in 95-degree weather. We throw a night before party, which always gives our golfers a little bit of an issue in the morning. But we're able to change that attitude throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then
I like
we
to
feed
call
them
it the 3 degrees off center rule.
and then we feed them a big steak, and they're worthless to their families the rest of the evening. So we decided we wanted to change that up after 9 years. And so I know some other folks doing bowling tournaments. And Cypress Lanes really knows how to put on a bowling tournament. It's a lot less work than a golf tournament. But we wanted a twist. And so we decided that this was our 4th annual Big Lebowski bowling tournament. Featuring the dude, and Frank Schmoes from New Electric has been our dude.
Yeah.
And this year we couldn't find anybody to jump into the Jesus character.
Yeah.
So I went online and got me a Jesus suit, and yours truly ended up being Jesus out there.
Yeah. So how did the night go fundraising
Well,
wise?
it goes well. We have on Friday night we have our Dude Abides party, and that's our sponsorship party where we celebrate the sponsors, we celebrate the bowlers, and get everybody involved. And then the next day, and we have silent auction stuff, and we had some great silent auction things, which is one of the most difficult things. I'm not real good about begging for things.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's just a tough road there, but we had some great ones. And it's a lot of the stuff that we get, especially the sponsors and the auction items, come from doing this for 20 years. You meet people, you have the folks that are behind you, they believe in what you do. And so we're able to tap into that again. And then we have the bowling starts at 4 o'clock the next day, and air conditioning. And we had over 20 teams this year, which is more than we've had any of the previous 3 years. So it got a little challenging. I thought, man, I don't know if we want to do this bowling tournament until I got there.
Yeah.
And then we had 20 teams. Now, some of the sponsors couldn't provide bowlers because it's football season.
Yeah.
And I think the game
And
is
it's Saturday
long.
night. Yeah,
And
it was.
Saturday.
It was a
It's
Saturday night,
challenge.
which is exactly why I wasn't there.
Yeah, and it's a challenge to get them both. So what we did was we filled those teams up with kids from the Boys and Girls Club.
That is
and
cool.
I got to tell you, they know how to eat
Yeah.
because they beat up that buffet.
Oh, listen, man.
Yeah, but there's no greater joy than to see that.
I bet
it's
it's smoke on the water, and those,
Yeah.
they can eat.
Yeah, they sure can. So
Well, one of the things about you is you can always use help. Somebody at home may be watching this.
yeah.
This is a giving community. It's giving back to their own. What is it that you could use help with, and how can folks go about helping you?
Well, obviously monetarily, that's always best. A lot of folks will provide some monetary help for us to do these outreaches that we do. But as far as volunteers, we have the Brooks Law Group event. The date hasn't been determined, but usually it's the Saturday before Thanksgiving. And I was trying to get that info before I came in here,
Yeah.
but just helping us bag foods up, because a lot of times we'll get pallets of apples or pallets of sweet potatoes that need to be bagged, those sort of things. Same thing with the holiday event we do, the food distribution we do at the Apple Lounge. Tim Leopard's been a big supporter.
I love Tim.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and his patrons all get together and just the same thing, pulling bags together and then getting those distributed. People come in helping with that. So those are 2 areas. But the best way to find out what is available and what's coming up is to stay on our Facebook page, Restaurants Against Hunger. I think it's @FoodAbides is where I finally settled on because we couldn't get the tagline I needed. But yeah, Restaurants Against Hunger, get on there, like the page, and that's where I put everything out as what we're doing, where we're going to be. And I know we got a Boys and Girls Club luncheon coming up, and I'll have that date put on there. So if anybody wants to come out and help serve the Boys and Girls Club, This is 350 kids. And in Polk County, 26% of our kids don't know if they're eating today. It's an incredible amount. If you put the math to it, it's over 40,000 kids that don't know if they're going to eat today. But a lot of them are in school, so they'll get something in school, but on the weekends, not so much. So it's crazy.
One thing that I noticed with you, and no matter whether it's with the business model or whether it's with a nonprofit or in your own personal, social media plays a big role. And simplistic message of be brief, be brilliant, be gone, but be entertaining. Talk to me a little bit about how that helps you reach out to these people.
Well, a long time ago, I used to be director of ops for Texas Cattle Company. And then Facebook came out, and we were in a senior management meeting, and the marketing gentleman came out and said, hey, we got this new thing, it's called Facebook. Does anybody want to try it? Not sure if it's going to work, not sure it's going to stick around. I said, yeah, let me give it a shot. And so I started on that right from the get-go. And when I left the cattle company, they had over 15,000 friends. And that just culminated into my personal Facebook page. And I saw the power of being able to put something online, especially videos and that sort of thing, short videos that work. I think I've got over 150 YouTube videos out there. And I'm certainly not creeping into your area, but that's hard work. But nowadays, it's just trying to stay on top of it. And you have to do something every day. It's got to be, for your business or for whatever you want to get out there, it has to be brief, it has to be entertaining, but you want to get it out there. And when we cook over wood, so I got plenty of opportunities to be able to show 2-inch pork chops, or, 13-ounce fillets over wood and get those out in the media right now.
Well, Grant, I want to thank you for coming in, and anytime that you need to promote anything, man, conversation is always entertaining with you, brother.
Probably the better one is my cartwheel I did on Sunday. I got a lot of cheerleaders giving me some shade on that. I don't know what that is all about. They're tough.
Yeah, it's a tough crowd. Thanks for coming in, brother.
My pleasure. Thanks, brother.
Food insecurity in our community is real, with 26% of the children in Polk County not sure if they're going to eat today. Many families do not know how or if they will get their next meal. Restaurants Against Hunger sole purpose is to support nonprofit, not-for-profit, and foundation whose mission is to eliminate hunger and poverty for at-risk and needy populations in the communities of Polk County. They strive to make a difference with the circle of their influence, as well as provide opportunities to bring awareness to those organizations on the front lines of hunger, serving those who serve others. That's who they are, and that's what they do. If you need more information, you can look them up on the web at www.cateringoasis.com/RAH.